Hi, hey, how's it, everybody? We're gonna say it's 3 p.m. West Coast time, 1 p.m. Hawaii time, 6 p.m. on the East Coast, and 5 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter, and we all know it's a little bit after 3. Yeah, it's just a little bit after 3, but we're here, you're here, I'm here. We are all here. Good to see everyone. We've got Gina, we've got Pacola T, we've got Darlene, we've got Rick, we've got Elaine, and I think it looks like from my end, we have got the Restream chats coming in, both chats from both formats on each of the formats. I think I figured out what I was doing wrong, but I'm not sure yet because you see, things have been running late. These Wednesdays are going to be a tricky, sticky wicket during tax season. I'm not going to lie. Once tax season is over, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. But today, I've been switching between studio mode and tax mode, studio mode, tax mode, getting the show ready, getting the clients taken care of, getting the show ready, getting the clients taken care of. And let me just say, suddenly it was 2:56 and I didn't have my backdrop up. I didn't have my microphone done. I didn't have my anything. I didn't have my nothing. And so, yeah, here we go. So, Rick confirming YouTube is live. And Elaine confirming that she is double dipping YouTube on the iPhone, Twitch on another. Perfect. And it looks like Elaine is confirming, yes, both chats, both venues. All right. I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, even though it's going to jinx us. I think I figured out. Oh, do I even want to say it? I think I figured out the chat situation. I think I figured out why things worked and other things didn't when they didn't. So now we can move on to another something that I will screw up indefinitely until I figure it out. Hey, Kevin, good to see you in the house. All right, we definitely got a late start today, and I don't think we're gonna run late unless we start chittering and chattering. So hopefully we will just keep this to the bottom of the hour, next hour, as it were. That way everyone can have their 30-minute break to get things and stuff done before they go and watch Daily Pidgin Live with our very own Miles, Medium 7-Up. But before we go and watch that show, we haven't even gotten this one started yet. So let's get the party started. All right, we got the party on the verge of being started. The gangy's all here. Now it's time for some chips and some dips, or something like that. Anyway, so exactly, Elaine. I got it. No need to go down that rabbit hole any further. Now we're gonna dig a hole that's completely different that hopefully we will be able to maneuver our way out of. Next, now I know I shouldn't do this because it brings expectations and hope that may never come to fruition. But let's see here. Oh no, Rick, and you still don't see the Twitch chats on YouTube. Pacola T just Twitch on my tiny cell screen and muted, so only reading the chat and seeing Statter's smiling face. Pacola T, that's so sweet. And Pacola T has donated some pictures to us that we will be drooling over later on. I think I might still need to upload them. Yeah, I still need to upload them into my system, but that's okay because we have got a couple videos that we're going to be showing. One of them I actually took yesterday. And all right, Gina, Pippin woke up and demands food. Yeah, you definitely need to take care of that. So let's see here. Rick, I don't know. Well, actually, I haven't even gone to my YouTube side yet. So I don't even know. All right, let's see here. I'm at YouTube now. And Well, I don't see any chat on my YouTube, so hold on. YouTube's being YouTubey. Let's see what we got going on here. Well, I would like it if you played. All right, that's weird. Well, Rick, it's not even showing any chat for me. So, oh, here we go. Okay, finally loaded the chat. Yeah, Rick, I don't know what is going on with your YouTube because I actually see, yeah, the plumeria from Photo Luke that Darlene posted on the Twitch side. I see the code for that, or not the code, but whatever. Yeah, it is coming through on mine, unfortunately. Now I'm coming through to the Twitch side to see what's going on there. And let's see here. Right. Well, yeah, Darlene, the comments aren't going to be coming across the screen cuz I don't know how to do that yet. That's going to be on the list of things to do. But as far as on YouTube, I can see everybody's message when I'm on the YouTube screen, even if the message got put in for on the Twitch side. So even though I feel like I figured it out, I guess I didn't figure it out. Or maybe it's just Rick's computer that's confused. I'm going to blame it on Rick's computer. I'm pretty sure that's not the case at all, but I'm still going to blame it on Rick's computer. And yeah, there we go. But as I was saying, before I got distracted with this, that, and the other tech, I was talking about some other tech that I'm planning on getting confused and distracted by, which is getting a second person on the screen, like having a little guest, a guest star, a guest host, a guest. I've got a couple different ways that I think I can do it, but right now I need to test out those ways, I guess is what it boils down to. So my best guess is you're going to be seeing some failed attempts on future streams, but this stream we are not going to attempt to have a guest. Way above my payroll at this point, way above my bandwidth actually at this point, because let me tell you, I said it before, I know I'm repeating myself. Tax season, Wednesdays, they're going to be a challenge. They are going to be a challenge. But Elaine, okay, cool, can see the comments and emotes on both. And then, right, exactly. It's like, well, YouTube only has the descriptions, not the actual emotes. Right, exactly, which is as good as it's going to get. That I feel confident. That's as good as it's going to get. That's how it shows up on Andy. Here's the gold standard. That's how it shows up on Andy's stream, so it must be the way it has to be. It's kind of the way I look at it. I know it might not be right. Andy isn't the internet god, but in my world, he kind of is. And so if it's good enough for Andy, it's good enough for me. But speaking of Andy's show, yesterday, if you guys didn't watch it, yesterday, Tuesdays and Thursdays on Daily Pidgin, Andy doesn't have a guest. It's just chaos is what it is. It's chaotic chatting. It's this, that, and the other. And I have to say, yesterday's show, it ran long because it was chaotic and it was flippin' hysterical. I'm not quite sure how Andy and James managed to get a contact high out of just talking about weed, but serious, you guys? If you didn't see the stream yesterday, it's a long one. It's like almost 2 hours, I think. They went long. And I feel so bad for Andy. I don't even know how he was going to edit that one down to size. But hey, he's going to edit it down to size somehow because he's magic. But seriously, I was hooting with laughter. And I hope that you guys, if you haven't seen it yet, you go and watch it and you hoot with laughter as well. Because even though there was no guest, it's worth every second of the broadcast. But speaking of guests, it is medium 7-Up, medium Diet Coke. Miles Wilcox is going to be on today. and I have no idea what they're going to be talking about. Well, no, that's not true. I have a vague idea of what they're going to be talking about, and I'm fairly certain they won't be talking about weed, because I know that this particular stream, Miles works with a lot of younger folks. And when it comes to younger folks, there's some topics that you generally try to steer away from. And I think that Miles's younger folks are going to be tuning into the live stream. And if they're not going to be tuning into it, they're probably eventually going to be watching it because it's their teacher on the TV or on the internets, basically. Well, and on the TV eventually. And so pretty sure it's not going to venture into the green territory, as it were. Hey, Pussycat, good to see you here. And Kevin, exactly, it totally turned into a podcast, which it was hysterical. I mean, considering James doesn't smoke and considering Andy hasn't smoked forever, they really... Yeah, it was funny. It was funny. Exactly. We have to be very good on Andy's stream later. Miles even asked nicely to keep it clean. Precisely, because I'm pretty sure he's going to have his students watching, and teachers are held to a very high standard. And, as far as, I mean, let's remember, what was it like when you were a kid, right? Teachers were, well, teachers were teachers. They weren't humans. I remember when I found out that my second grade teacher smoked cigarettes. I mean, even though both my parents smoked cigarettes, and it was like 1981 or something, and everybody smoked cigarettes. I mean, it was the norm to smoke cigarettes. Why I found it so flippin' shocking that Mrs. Hopper smoked cigarettes, I don't know why, but it was. Kids, hold their teachers to this different... I mean, maybe kids these days don't. I don't know. I just know when I was a kid, how about you guys? Like, what, did you see your sort of, I guess, hold your teachers on a pedestal, for lack of a better description? Like, was there anything ever that you found out, like, that you saw your teacher doing? Or like, if you see them, or if you saw them in the grocery store, oh my God, they're buying cornflakes. Teachers don't eat cornflakes. And it's like, well, teachers might eat cornflakes, actually. Were you guys ever, shocked by something that you found out a teacher did? I know I happened to be playing in the school playground over summer break, and a fire had broken out it turned out it was a controlled fire, but it didn't look like it. So I was freaking out, right? And so I went down. I was in the school playground over summer break playing with one of my friends. So we went down to the school to see if anybody was at the school. Well, as it turns out, Mrs. Hopper was at the school. So we, knock on her window, and I see her put the cigarette out in the garbage can, and she's all freaking out because a kid just saw her smoking cigarettes. And even though, I didn't say anything to her at the time, I was shocked. And when I went into her classroom to tell her what was going on, I could smell the smoke. I saw the cigarette in the thing. I mean, I know what I saw, right? And so, yeah. And then, Kevin, your freshman and sophomore years of high school, we had designated smoking area for students. Some schools did that. My school was definitely not an okay thing to be smoking cigarettes on the school grounds. That being said, it was just a game of cat and mouse. There was two little, corners, basically, for lack of a better word. One outside of the social studies section and one outside of the math section of our school, the math wings of our school. And those would be, depending upon, like, the side of the building that you were on and where your next class was, or where your other class that you were coming from was, you'd either be on that side or the other side smoking your cigarettes between class. Now, how we managed to hang out at the smoking corner between class when there's only 5 minutes between classes, I don't really know, but we somehow managed to do it. And I never was a cigarette smoker in high school. I tried, it just didn't stick. I had asthma, the lungs were not having it at all. But all of my friends were cigarette smokers. And so I would hang out at the smoking corner with them. And basically it was a game of cat and mouse in regards to you weren't allowed to smoke on school grounds, period, end of story. And so with the teachers, it was kind of a game of cat and mouse between class, keeping an eye out for this, that, and whoever might catch you, basically. But luckily, 5 minutes between classes, most teachers had stuff that they had to do. They weren't out and about patrolling anything. And so for the most part, we didn't get caught very often. However, we did have a school security officer. Now, the school security officer that I grew up with is a very different animal than the school security officers that they have on campus now. The ones that they have on campus now are quite often contracted with the sheriff or the police department, and they're actually like off-duty cops. Or on-duty cops or whatever. I don't know. They're cops. All right, well, this was not a cop. This was Mr. Haggerty. And I don't remember what exactly Mr. Haggerty did, other than patrol the woods and the campus, basically, and the woods surrounding the campus, looking for miscreants like myself and my friends trying to catch us in the act. However, he also didn't really want to catch us in the act because that meant like a hassle for everybody. Plus, he kind of was like nice. We liked Haggerty. And so he didn't really want to become an enemy of, the bad kids. Mr. Haggerty, I swear he had 3 shirts that he wore all the time. A fluorescent orange sweatshirt, a fluorescent yellow sweatshirt, and a fluorescent pink sweatshirt. And so, for the most part, everyone recognized if you get caught by Haggerty, that's your fault, because you could see him coming a mile away. If you were in the woods smoking things other than cigarettes that you weren't supposed to be in the woods smoking, and you saw a bright pink sweatshirt through the trees, you knew Haggerty was coming to get you. You had plenty of time to get rid of the evidence. If you got caught by Haggerty, it was your own fault. And so everyone loved Haggerty for that reason. And let's see here. Darlene, yeah, there was absolutely, hold on. Pussycat, yeah, I don't like cigarettes either. They do smell bad. I used to not notice it because, like I said, both my parents smoked, my sister smoked, all my friends used to smoke. But now that smoking is like, not really okay. Oh God, it's stinky. Yeah, it is just gross. And so let's see here. Darlene, yes, there was absolutely no smoking on the school premises, though people snuck in the bathrooms. But if you got caught, look out. Your parents were called for one thing and detention. And depending on how belligerent you were, you could be expelled. Wow. Interesting. Rick, your homeroom teacher, usually had a pack of Winstons rolled up in his shirt sleeve. No big thing. That is funny. See, we didn't smoke in the bathrooms in my school because there was no windows in the bathrooms. And so it absolutely, there was no hiding smoke in the bathrooms. It would go floating out into the hallway. Now, I will admit to smoking weed in the bathrooms when I was in high school, but you'd only take a tiny little hit. You'd blow the smoke down the toilet so it kind of got sucked down into the sewers. But also, the handy thing about that was in the 80s, there was a hairspray called Tresemme that smelled exactly like weed and when you sprayed it. And so all the rocker chicks ended up using Tresemme. That way, when people were like, do you smell weed? We could always just pull out our hairspray and say, yeah, totally, dude, it's this. And they're like, oh, yeah, it must be that. And it's like, oh, no, it wasn't. But I'm glad you think that it was. And so... And then Elaine, our school didn't have smoking areas, but each lavatories were smoke spewing out the windows during recess. Teacher walks in the haze. What? No, we don't smoke. Exactly. Rick, 3 shirts, probably all the teacher could afford. Quite possibly. But they were very well chosen shirts for the purpose. And you guys, I've got so much stuff going on. I forgot to do something very important. There we go. Now we've got some music to go with our talk of being... high school rebels who may or may not have smoked things that we weren't supposed to smoke. And let's see here. Darlene, hairspray. Yeah, serious. It was a really good idea. It worked more than once, I have to say. And Gina, sneaky. You don't even know how sneaky we were. Rick, Tresemme, sort of like Prel. Exactly. And Pussycat, you're loving my new background? Oh, fantastic. Yes. Actually, it's the old background. It's the original background. I just had a vague idea of how to fix this. I don't know if you have... I can't remember how long you've been with us, Pussycat, but back at the very beginning, there was no nothing behind me, and you got to see the ugly sheets over my windows to prevent glare. And then one of my friends ended up finding this canvas at a house that he was moving, and they didn't want this canvas anymore. So he gave it to me, which was awesome. Boom, we've got the canvas. However, this side of the canvas, as you can see, is really bright white. And so, well, I was using it, but it was like blowing out. It was messing with the lighting and the way my camera was interpreting the lighting, and I was just looking weird. And so then I was like, screw it. And I turned this canvas upside down. And so for a while we had upside down surfboards, so there wasn't this huge white glare. But now I figured, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to put a scarf over there and pretend it's a fishing net. It'll tone down on the white. And there you have it. So we're back to the surfboards because I like the surfboards too. Terry in the Scotland coming in with a 17-month subscription and an explosion of emotes. Thank you so much, Terry, for being here. Thank you so much for the subscription. We are talking about all the bad things that we did in high school. No, we're not talking about all the bad things we did in high school. We're talking about a lot of the bad things we did in high school, mostly surrounding smoking, cigarettes, and other things. So yeah, there we go. We're trying to get it out of our system before Andy's show today, because we have to be good on Andy's show, because there's gonna be kids watching, so we got to be good. Yeah. So, let's see here. What did I miss before? We got Terry coming in. Here we go. Cola T. Hubby said his high school had a student smoking section in North Carolina. Go figure. Yeah, if there's going to be a student smoking section anywhere, it's going to be in North Carolina. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if in some schools in North Carolina, they still have that smoking section. Isn't North Carolina like where most of the tobacco companies are located? So... And Darlene, you didn't smoke for your dad was a heavy smoker and you just couldn't stand the smell literally on everything. Yeah, it really does get on everything. And you know, it's really funny because, oh no, Elaine, your YouTube stream disappeared. You looked and you can't find it on YouTube right now. Uh-oh. Well, it's still there for me. Oh, that's so technology. Why do you do the things you do? It's still there, but I'm glad you're on Twitch. That's why we're dueling it. So let's see here. And, Terry in Scotland, exactly. If you can't be good, be careful. Precisely. Or as one of my other friends used to say, if you can't be good at it. That is exactly it. And, let's see here. Pussycat, oh please. We put the high in high school in Daytona. We went to the beach every morning before school. Exactly, yeah. Hey, Pinnell, good to see you on the YouTube side. Fantastic. And let's see here. Hubby even went to school on a military base, and they allowed student smoking. Okay, well, now that's a little weird. I mean, I guess, I don't know. It was a different era. But I seriously, though, wouldn't be surprised if even now, in this day and age, there is a high school in North Carolina that's like, oh yeah, you totally can smoke. We don't care. I don't care. Because like I said, North Carolina is kind of like the epicenter of the tobacco industry. I'd like to think that things have evolved, but I just don't really know if they have or not. And let's see here. All you're seeing is Pussycat's comments on YouTube, not Elaine's. What is going on? So Pussycat, and then I just don't even know what's happening there. So we're just gonna have to let it slide, let it go. I don't know that song. I've never seen the movie. So yeah. All right. So what, Rick? Today is the first day of meteorological spring since the weather people get everything wrong. So why would they get the beginning of spring right? Wow. It's spring? My temperature outside would beg to differ. That's okay. Pussycat, you weren't dumb. We didn't smoke in school. We went to the beach across the street from the school. Pinnell, they had a smoking area in your high school. Yeah, so I went to school. I grew up in a town called Bremerton, but I didn't go to Bremerton High. I went to a different high school, but Bremerton High, some of my friends did go there, and they absolutely had a smoking corner there. I remember one. This is the kind of thing I used to do when I was a kid. I would skip school, my school, to go to school with my other friends who went to different schools. Now, I know in this day and age, you'd never be able to get away with that because everybody has badges and this, that, and the other thing. But back in my day, you could. And I know it's just like, wait, you skipped school to go to somebody else's school? You heard me right. Yeah, I did it more than once, and my friends did it with me. You know, we would just go to class with them. And then suddenly the teacher would be like, who is this? And it's just like, oh, it's my friend. She's visiting. You know, we'll find a chair for her, and we'll sit through class and do class stuff with the others in the other school. My point, though, is between classes at Bremerton, they had a smoking corner, and it was bizarre to me because I was all like, are you, on the lookout, and they're just like, no, we're, in fact, we can be late. If they know that we were at the smoking corner, we can actually be late to class. And oh my God, it's 87 in Daytona today. No, it's, I think, 40 something right now. Here, let me see. Yeah, it's like 43 now, but it was like 20 something before the sun came up. So, yeah. And so, let's see here, Picola T coming in. On the other hand, I went to a religious school where we couldn't even wear shirts advertising cigarettes, beer, sexual stuff. No, we actually, at my public school, you weren't allowed to wear anything that had swear words on it, anything that, that was remotely sexual, no beer, no cigarette advertising, no, like in elementary school, there was this kid, who used to always wear a little baseball cap that had the Skoal, tobacco logo. And in elementary school, I guess I was just fine. But once we got to junior high and high school, he wasn't allowed to wear that hat. Let's see here. So, Rick, Weather Geek Spring equals March, April, May. First day of real spring is March 21st. I knew that the first day of real spring is March 21st, but it's only March 1st. So we still got 20 days of chilliness as far as I'm concerned. And Gina, it's 57 now. And Darlene, you just traded classes with your twin sister a few times. Of course you did. I think it would be, it's mandatory as a twin to do that, right? I mean, I think that it's written in the twin rules. And so, Terry, you're going to start your stream when I'm finished gassing on here. Fantastic. So you guys, if you want to catch Terry in Scotland at 4:30 instead of the usual 4 o'clock time, we will hopefully be raiding into Terry because I remember how to raid now. And let's see here. Is it Biker Week in Daytona already? Wow, 250,000 bikers in town. I don't know if I would want to live in a town like that, dude. That sounds like a real pain in the arse. I mean, I realize it's very good for the economy, and I realize that Daytona is kind of set up like that anyway. I mean, that's sort of what happens between spring break and biker week and all of the racing circuit stuff, but that just seems like a lot of extra people to deal with. And Darlene, yeah, your school too, none of those shirts that say the things and the stuff, and no bare midriffs. They stated it disrupted the class with the boys. Yeah, no bare midriffs at my junior high or high school either. In elementary school you could, and I'm not sure if they just didn't care in elementary school, but also like in the early 80s, that whole bare midriff half t-shirt thing was a really popular style. You've seen Andy Bumatai wearing it up and down the West Coast, at least. That was a super popular style. So there were a lot of dudes in my elementary school that were all about the half t-shirts. And let's see here. Oh no, Pinnell, so many boys split their jean shorts across the butt that shorts were banned at your high school. Shorts were banned at my high school, at my junior high, at my elementary school. You were never allowed to wear shorts. I think they eventually changed that rule, but they had to be like longer, you know, shorts, like just above the knee kind of thing. And let's see here. Okay, cool. So yeah, it looks like, wait, hold on. Yeah, it looks like nobody could wear, looks like a lot of people couldn't wear shorts in school. And what? Pussycat, you remember when you couldn't wear jeans in school? I am definitely not of that era. Oh my goodness, I don't remember that at all. Option, hey, good to see you, man. What cruelty to enforce the wearing of long sleeve shorts. Yeah, you know, well, you know, I mean, here's the deal, Mr. San Diego man who now is currently in Hawaii. In Washington State, very rarely is there an actual need for the shorts. So we could live with the mandate. But yes, correct. In Hawaii or in San Francisco? No, not San Francisco. San Francisco, they can wear long pants. It's cold there too. San Diego, Hawaii, Daytona. Yeah, I can see why it would be very cruel and unusual punishment to have to wear the long shorts. And okay, Pussycat, there we go. Okay, I'm not that old. I just have an older sister. Got it. Okay, now Pussycat, when your sister was in school and no jeans were allowed, was that the case for men and women, for boys and girls? Or were boys allowed to wear jeans, but girls were not? So let's see here. And so, Darlene saying once the shorts, so by the time your brothers got to high school, shorts were allowed, but not when you were there. But once the shorts were allowed, yeah, no shorts, right, exactly. You gotta have, well, probably similar to like the mini skirt rule, like, you know, it has to be as long as your middle finger is down to your thing or whatever. And let's see here, option, yeah, imagine the culture shock of going places and having to wear shirts and shoes in the store. Actually, dude, it is a culture shock because I was born in Hawaii, and so my first growing upness was in Hawaii. And so when I got to the mainland and saw the whole no shirts, no shoes, no service signs that were all over places like, you know, grocery stores, McDonald's, whatever, I was very confused. Because of course you go to McDonald's and no shirts and no shoes. I mean, what? I didn't, but lots of people did. And Elaine, in Hawaii back in the 60s, no shorts in school, but we changed that since no air conditioning and it was hot. Right, exactly. Okay, so Pussycat, you're saying both boys and girls were not allowed in the early 70s to wear the jeans. Wow. And then Smith Pinnell, in my job at Burke's, no slacks on women, no sleeveless, and had to wear a bra because a girl once came in wearing a see-through blouse and no bra. Oh, well, I mean, come on, lady, get a clue. Why'd you ruin it for the rest of us? And let's see here. Whoa, wait. Elaine, you had a guy from Australia come in, a spandex type swim shorts, and he got sent to the office for indecent exposure. Terry, I guess in Texas, short shorts were allowed in school, and escapees were always a concern. Yeah, Mr. Bodangles, you might not want to have those, you know. What were you, Harry Poppins? Is that your nickname? Yeah, totally. And let's see. Fuzzy Cat. I was a groundbreaker. I wore jeans as a teenager. Ooh, you rebel, you. And let's see here. Darlene was tough on me for I was the one who loved mini skirts, mini shirts, short shorts, bare midriff tops, etc. I gave my dad a heart attack. At times wouldn't let me out of the house if I didn't change. So now I knew you meant mini skirts, or I mean, I thought you meant mini skirts, but anyway. So Darlene, I have to wonder, were you just the one in the family who liked to show off the show-offs? Or did your twin sister also like to imbibe in the mini skirts and the bare midriffs, etc.? I guess what I'm asking is, was your dad tag teamed by both of you, or were you just the one that decided to push his buttons? And Nicola T, yep, Daisy Dukes were forbidden, but modest shorts were okay. Right, exactly. And let's see here. And Pinnell, you were the first in your class to wear a miniskirt. Your mother bought it for you. Nice. And Elaine, mini shirts. I had a heart attack. Actually, you know, I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but there was a trend in the 1990s, where girls would wear toddler t-shirts, you know, like baby shirts underneath their little dresses, you know, the little white t-shirt under the dress thing. Well, oftentimes those tight white t-shirts that the girls were wearing were actually like kids' clothes. So they were totally, literally mini shirts. And, let's see here. Puzzy Cat, your wife gives you grief about your old jeans, but now they're worth big bucks. I don't know if they're necessarily worth big bucks, but then again, I suppose if they are truly like vintage Levi's or whatever, there is a strange like aftermarket. I think in Japan, at least, they used to be they would pay top dollar for that. So yeah, you might have a gold mine of jeans, but you know, if you still wear them, then, you know, they're worth more on your body than they are in your pocketbook, right? Because you're just gonna have to go buy new pants. And Darlene, yep, bareback tops and braless. Oh man, yeah, your dad was just having a heart attack every day that you went to school. Oh my. Alrighty, you guys. So, Nicola T was nice enough. Oh, Puzzy Cat, you've got the vintage Levi's? Yeah, well then there you go. They are worth the big bucks, for sure. Alright, you guys, so Nicola T was nice enough to send over some delicious looking photos that I wanted to share with you guys, because we always talk about food, and so why are we making this any different? However, I didn't load them into my stream. So, you know what happens when I don't load things into my stream? It means you guys get to watch a video while I load them up into my stream. Nicola T, remember boob tubes? Exactly, tube tops. A few nip slips happened back then. Oh, for sure. And Darlene, okay, so it was both you and your sister pushing the limits. You were young, so why not? Got it. And right, exactly, Rick. Old jeans worth a ton of money. Just go shopping for some new jeans. That's what I'm saying. It's like, well, I guess you could sell them, but you'd still have to go buy some new ones, so you'd probably come out even. And let's see, Pinnell, your dad, oh, right. Your dad never noticed what you wore. He was always buried in books. Well, that's maybe better, actually, depending upon what you tried to get out the door, right? And let's see here. Okay, so all right. So yes, exactly, Darlene. It's either video or Lono time. I have a Lono video, but I also have a video that I took yesterday. And I was out and about doing some errands for work, and I decided to stop by the beach and see if I could see what I could see. And as it turns out, I was able to run into a bunch of waterfowl, and they were hanging out, feeding on the shoreline. And so we're going to have about 3 minutes of birds on the water. Oh yeah, it's very exciting. Very exciting. All right then, let's do it.
Yes, I should say.
All right, there we have it. No sharks there. And yes, it was like it was. It did. Oh, Darlene, you don't even know. The weather yesterday was insane. And yes, exactly, Quilty, that sound makes you want to go shishi for sure. No, yesterday the weather was insane. On the way to that part of the beach, I had gone through 2 hailstorms. And then a downpour, and then it was sunny. And so then at the very end, it did start to lightly sprinkle, as it were. But you guys, okay, now that was the little video, and you know that I can't do something without going down a rabbit hole. I noticed those birds were birds that I had never really seen before. And I wasn't sure what they were. And so I went down the little, rabbit hole of like Puget Sound ducks for salt water, blah, blah, blah. They're not ducks, as it turns out. They're a species called, they're a Pigeon Guillemot, I guess. I don't know how to say. A Pigeon Guillemot. I don't know what a Guillemot is. I've never heard of such shenanigans, but they're a Pigeon Guillemot, and apparently they are super common. They, their range is here, as we can see on the map. That's right. You knew it. You knew there was a map. And by the way, you guys, this isn't the only map. This isn't going to be the only map we're seeing today. But yes, Map Satter had to bring out the maps. And right, exactly what? Never heard of them. Precisely. I've never heard of them either. But apparently they are a year-round presence in the Puget Sound. And they're so common that they're not, like, there's no threat. They're considered a very stable population with multiple breeding colonies and breeding sites. And so they're considered, a relatively, there's no threat of extinction, no need for conservation. They are successful. They are a successful bird. Pigeon, not pigeon as in English, pigeon as in the flying rats of the city. And that's not how you spell it. You spell it here. I'll put it in the chat. Pigeon. It's something like, it looks sort of French. It's something like Guillemot or Guillemot, Guillemot, Pigeon Guillemot. And option, they look delicious. There you go. And Pussycat, loons dive underwater and fish for dinner. That is exactly, whoops, here we go. That is exactly what these guys do. They can actually dive up to 150 feet. So, like I said, you guys, I saw this, I made the video, saw the birds, tried to ID the birds, then went down a rabbit hole about what the birds are birding, and so now you guys are going to learn a little bit about these birds. Because you can't leave a chatter with Statter without learning some kind of random useless information that you will never need again. And this is it. This is it right here. The Pigeon Guillemot. And they can dive up to 150 feet. They like the rocky beaches like Seattle's got or the Puget Sound's got. And they eat worms, they eat fishies. And let's see here. Breeding plumage is black with bold white wing patch and bright red legs. Plumage changes dramatically in the winter. I don't think it does here, to whitish overall with dusky markings on the body, black wingtips, often found in shallower coastal waters than other blah blah blahs, regularly seen from the shore. Yep, exactly. And that is exactly right, Terry. The Pigeon Guillemot is a species of the bird in the auk family. And exactly, option. You're going to learn something regardless of if you want to. You're learning about this randomness. And Picolati, delicious in a beurre blanc because they're French. That could be. I don't know if anyone ever eats them, but I do think that because they are waterfowl, they probably would have a nice layer of fat and they might render down quite nicely. Yeah, sure. And we're all sitting here talking about eating them, and Gina's just like, they're cute. And Terry, since they're members of the auk family, they go auk. I don't know, I didn't really hear them, but they might, actually, because that sounds totally like a bird sound to me. And Pussycat, they eat your bait when you're fishing. No, these ones don't, because these ones are found in Pacific waters. The ones that you're thinking of are the black guillemots, and those are on the Atlantic coast. The black guillemot and the pigeon guillemot look almost, guillemot, I don't know how to say it, look almost the same. But one of them's found on the Atlantic, one of them's found on the Pacific. And so if you're fishing in Florida, you ain't getting fights with the bait. You ain't getting fights for your bait with the pigeon guillemot. You're getting in fights for the bait with the black guillemot. Yeah, I went down a rabbit hole. Yeah, I did. And, okay, yeah, exactly, Pinnell. Yeah, Pinnell, who's sitting there in her Canadian ways, knowing how French is said. Yeah, that might actually not be how you say it. It might be Guillemot. Probably is. But I say pamplemousse. So, yeah. But I say pamplemousse. You know what, though? I should have looked up how to say it. And I probably will look up how to say it. And and then we will reconvene back here at a later date to confirm or deny what we have been saying. And yeah, exactly, Darlene. Yep, 2 different kinds. Wow, I did go down the rabbit hole. You know I did. You know I did. You know I did. And exactly, Rick. Incoming turkey. Incoming dinner. You have it right. Okay, so, oh, Terry, your wife always said Guillemot. Okay. See, yeah, and you can quote me on that. So, let's see here, Pussycat, we have seagulls and pelicans and ospreys and lots of other fishing birds. Oh yeah, we have all those. No, we don't have. Okay, no. I don't think we've got any pelicans native to the Puget Sound area. We have osprey. Osprey, by the way, is another word for seahawk. And if you didn't know, Seattle has some seahawks, just so you know. Yeah, so ospreys, seahawks, and seagulls. I mean, yeah, we've got tons of those here. In fact, I actually got some video of a seagull just like chilling on a rock, but I decided not to show you guys the video of the seagull chilling on the rock because it's just 45 seconds of a seagull chilling on a rock. Pacola T, rabbit hole, or in this case, lost in a bird's nest. Exactly. There you go. Lost in that bird's nest. Okay, so the whole reason why I was showing you guys, oh wait, let's see here. Hold on. Oh wait, we have the most beautiful bird, the blue herring. Do you mean heron, I guess, Pussycat? It's a giant egret, only blue. Yeah, we have blue herons and we have green herons here in the Puget Sound. Not only do we have blue herons, which are actually way common, oddly enough. I see them a lot. Once I was walking down the street in the house that the house that I lived in before I bought my house was in West Seattle. Densely populated single-family home neighborhood. Sidewalks, you know, busy 4-lane main street I'm walking on, right? I'm going to the 7-Eleven. This is a densely populated area. And I walk by this yard that's fenced, and on the other side of the fence, there must have been like a fish pond in their front yard. Well, I don't know if it was me walking by or if it was just coincidence, but suddenly this great blue heron got scared or decided it was done fishing. I don't know. Great blue heron on just the other side of the fence. I can't see him, so I don't know what this is yet. Decides to start flapping its wings, and then it takes off. The sound of those wings are, great blue herons are huge birds. And so the sound of those wings before I saw what it was kind of freaked me out. I seriously, for just a half second, I was like, what kind of dinosaur is on the other side of that fence? Because it didn't really occur to me that it would be I don't know what I do know what I thought it was. I thought it was a dinosaur. But I knew it wasn't. Yeah, and so, yes, exactly, Pussycat. They're like 4 feet tall. Precisely. And so finally, when the bird flew up over the fence line and I could see what it was just like, oh, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen ever. I'm glad it's not a dinosaur. It was crazy. I just did not expect to see, because I'm used to seeing the great blue herons down on the shore, in the marsh, in the salt, the estuary areas. I'm not used to seeing a great blue heron fishing for fish in someone's yard pond. Right? But no, dude, apparently wherever there's fish, there's going to be raccoons or there's going to be heron in this neighborhood. And by the way, Kayla, I did see you come in. I'm just busy talking about scary birds. So, hey, good to see you. And let's see here. Yeah, exactly, Darlene. They love, blue herons love the shallow waters, but they are huge. I mean, yeah, super, super huge. And I don't think they call seagulls that are by a bay bagels, but I could be wrong. Perhaps this entire time I've been putting schmear on the wrong thing. You'll have to get back to me on that there, Rick. And let's see here. Bacola T, you guess you can see eye to eye with herons? Yeah, you might be a couple inches taller, but yeah, seriously, you probably could see eye to eye. And Kayla, by all means, tell your story about your bird or about a bird, the bird. Kayla, just be sure that, just be sure that you give us enough details that I can reread it and we can all point and laugh, because these stories are all about pointing and laughing. And so I hope you guys won't be offended if you say something funny and then we post the haha emote, because that's what we do here. Haha. And all right, well, while we're waiting for Kayla to tell us her story, I'm going to tell you the whole reason why I went and showed that video to begin with, which was so I could go grab this set of pictures, because, you know, we talk about food here and we want to talk about food again. So we're going to talk about food. So let's talk about food. Boom. These are pictures that Pacola T sent me earlier today. She went to the Liliha bakery and she decided to make us all jealous. And she decided to brag about the frozen Coco Puffs they have there and all of the yumminess that you could take home for your own self. And then, of course, there's these cookies, which, frankly, I never understood why people like these cookies, because you're eating a work of art. Like, why would you do that? I would have a really hard time eating those cookies, no matter how delicious. I just think of how much time it would take to decorate it, and I would feel bad about it ending up in my tummy. But that's not really what I want to talk about. What I actually want to talk about is, oh, come on, next picture, please, is this. No! Oh, god dang it. No, this is what I want to talk about. So, look at all of these puffs, you guys. Look at all of these puffs. Every single one of these is a cream puff of a different variety. You've got the green tea puff, you've got the cream puff, you've got the cocoa puff, and you've got the chocolate puff. And I agree, Pacola T, those glazed cookies never taste good. They just look pretty. I agree. And so what I'm wondering, for those of you who have had these puffs, what is the difference between a cocoa puff and a chocolate cream puff? I mean, I can see the difference in the sense that the cocoa puff is the one on the top, and so it's a lighter brown cream, and then the chocolate one is the second shelf, and it's the darker brown cream. But what I don't, someone help explain to me what's the flavor profile difference. I see that they are different looking. What is the flavor profile difference? So I'm going to keep the Cocoa Puffs on the screen for a minute while I read about Kayla's bird story. And, okay, so Kayla, one time you were on the way to San Diego and you had to stop at a gas station, had to use the bathroom because you were driving. Anyway, we see a whole bunch of small birds, and then you look up and you see a huge big bird, and then, and that's the end of the story? Yeah, my best guess is that big bird might have been hunting the little birds. In fact, I used to have a bird feeder in my front yard, And on more than one occasion, I would have a hawk come flying through and snagging one of the little guys mid-seed, mid-seed gorge, as it were. And then Kayla, and one time I was in Hawaii and we were eating lunch, and all of a sudden this chicken decides to be on the table, and your mom, since she grew up in Guam, didn't even get scared. Well, there's no reason to get scared, silly kitten. You just bash that chicken, just swipe that chicken off the table. Because, the chickens are going to get aggressive. The chickens are going to hop on the table because they want your food. The chickens, I'm not at all surprised that your mom was just like, meh. But yeah, seriously, Kayla, chickens aren't usually chickens aren't something to be afraid of. And that's all I'm going to tell you. Let's see here. Pussycat, I'm going to go get some frosting on a spoon. And Kayla, seriously, you're feeding the chicken. Right, exactly. And in fact, Kayla, not only are you feeding the chicken, chances are you're feeding the chicken. Because chickens will eat chicken. As disturbing as that is, they will eat chicken. And Rick, the flavor label is on the case. There's the cream puffs, which are on the lower level, and then the green ones are the green tea, and then the stuff on the lower left, that's a chocolate eclair. And then the other bottom shelf stuff, that's just the regular vanilla cream puff. The green ones are the green tea puffs. The next shelf up is the chocolate cream puffs. And the top shelf is the Coco Puff. So that is what we're staring at right now. And so, Rick, you might feel uncomfortable if you're eating a chicken plate at the table. No, dude, I would not feel uncomfortable. In fact, I'd be looking at it going, you want this to be you next? Get the heck off of my table. I got your leg right here, mister. Mister. That's right. And, oh my God, Pinnell, here it's just the gulls that get aggressive around food. Totally, man. The gulls will come and steal food right out of your hand if you're not paying attention here. The gulls are cheeky bastards. Let me just tell ya. They will, if you go to the waterfront in downtown Seattle, there's a place called Ivers. We've talked about it on the stream. And there's Ivers on the waterfront has waterfront dining outside. And they have signs everywhere, saying you really shouldn't feed the seagulls. But then the sign is just like, but the seagulls are going to eat anyway. Because, it's more of a case of like, they're trying to warn you, unless you actively protect your food, you're going to be feeding the seagulls. And, exactly, Terry. Poor chickens are born with a target on their backs. Even other chickens are after them. That is exactly true. And so Pukola Tea got poi mochi donuts instead. So fluffy and so good. That's awesome. But I'm still curious. Anyone? Oh, all right. Pukola Tea is reading my mind. Molly, Coco Puffs have macadamia nut butter cream frosting. Ew. So wait a second here. That light brown frosting, is there any cocoa in it? Or is it just macadamia nut flavored? Because when you say Coco Puff, I do not think macadamia nut. Like, that's not really where my brain goes to. So, is it a macadamia chocolate nut butter frosting? Or is it just a macadamia nut butter frosting? Cream frosting. Huh. Interesting. I'm not really a fan of cream puffs, but now I'm very intrigued. And I didn't try a Coco Puff when I was there. Probably should have. Oh, well, I guess I'll have to go back. And then, they're filled with chocolate pudding. And then mac nut buttercream frosting. Oh. If I'd have known that, things might have been different. And Penel, do they have a coconut flavor? I have no idea. We're gonna have to ask the experts from the island in regards to that situation. No clue. Let's see here. I'm just blown away. Chocolate pudding in the middle. No one told me that. I love chocolate pudding. I love chocolate pudding. All right, you guys. So we're getting close-ish to the bottom of the hour, and we haven't had our Lono listening break. But it's not going to just be a Lono listening break today, because we're going to have a little bit of a lesson as well. And I know it's weird. Can you believe it? We're going to have maps. Oh my God, we're going to have maps. Yep, that's right. We're going to have maps. Yes, we are. Okay, so yeah, we've got ourselves a map here, because this particular song that we're going to listen to from Lono is a chant from 900 AD from the Makanalua Peninsula. And the reason why we're going to be listening to this particular song is because earlier this week when Lono was on... No, last week when Lono was on... Wait, when was Lono? What day is it today? Okay, that time when Lono was on Andy's show, I think it was last week, he mentioned that Evie Project is going to be doing some chants, redoing some songs that Lono did, and one of the songs that Lono did is a chant that he rewrote into song, and now Evie is going to be making their version of it. However, we don't have the Evie version of it yet. We only have the Lono version, because that's what's been out for years. So let's see here. So Bacola Tea coming in though with some important information. No, Coco Puffs are not coconut flavored. Choice of vanilla, chocolate, matcha green tea, or the other one. And then the best coconut pastry is coconut custard filled malasada. And by the way, Penel, in case you don't know, coconut custard in Hawaii is sometimes called, what is it, haupia? So haupia, if you see that, that is code for coconut custard, just so you know. So yes, exactly. Darlene, maps, what kind? Well, how about a map, first off, of Molokai? So, this is the island of Molokai. You might have seen this map before, because I think I've probably shown it before. But on the very, very, very top of the island, that green triangle, that green peninsula that's poking up into the off the northern side of the island, that is the Makanalua Peninsula. That is this. There we go. There we go. And so, you guys might be familiar with the Makanalua Peninsula and being referred to as Kalaupapa. Well, Kalaupapa is actually just the settlement on that peninsula. And that is the settlement that that the people with Hansen's disease were sent to were forced to relocate to. And that is on the west side of the peninsula. The Panenee mountains or cliffs are on the south side of the peninsula, and those cliffs are basically what sort of separate the rest of the island from this peninsula. This peninsula is very flat and juts out into the middle of into the ocean, whereas the cliffs are where, like the rest of the island sort of begins. And so it's those cliffs that make it so difficult to access this particular chunk of land, which is why I believe they chose this particular chunk of land to relocate people and isolate them from the rest of the population. Hey, Michael Anthony Smith, good to see you. We just finished talking about Coco Puffs, and now we are talking about Molokai and the Makanalua Peninsula and a chant that Lono Music has created into song. So, before we get into the song, I would like to share with you an edited version of what Lono wrote on his YouTube page about this particular chant. And so we're going to run through that, and then we're going to watch the video. So first, here we go. This is some background, and I hope you guys can read it. I am not going to read it because I am afraid of mispronouncing some names and things. So I'm going to... Darlene, you watched the YouTube, and yeah, it was chosen specifically for keeping other people away. Right, exactly. So that's part one of what he wrote. This continues on to explain why Lono chose to cover this song in the way he can do it, because he is not a chanter. And Lono will be the first one to let everyone know that he is not a chanter. Here's the next part. These are the winds. These are the areas. These are the spots that are mentioned in the chant. Ah! No. And then this is important to recognize as well. These chants are still danced to this day. So now that we've got some background, Rick coming in with some architecture. No, not architecture, geography. How did I get those words confused? The peninsula is roughly 3 miles wide and about 2.5 miles into the ocean. Exactly. And it's a relatively flat, low level. My best guess is one good tsunami could be problematic for that peninsula, unfortunately. I'm not sure it's ever happened, but it's low-lying land. All right, so now that you guys have the background of the situation, let's take our Lono listening break. right, there we have it. So, let's see here. So, yes, so, yeah, okay, Darlene, now there's some boat access to the Makanalua Peninsula. Not at all surprised, but yes, there is actually an airport there. I mean, it's a tiny airstrip. It's not like an airport the way we think of an airport. But yeah, they do fly in some things, and actually, like, and I don't know how they got them there, but there's roads down on the Makanalua Peninsula, like actual paved roads. And like, there's a school bus down there, like there's trucks, you know what I mean? Like there's obviously other ways to get to the peninsula other than that mule trail. Because ain't no school bus going down the mule trail, but they got a school bus down there. I have no idea how they got the school bus down there or whatever, but they definitely do. But in regards to, the people that live there, obviously when they're, if they decide to like go to town, they're obviously not going to be going up the mule trail either. They fly out of there. In fact, it used to be that some kapuna that lived down there really enjoyed Lono's music. And so they would fly, the kapuna who wanted to watch Lono perform would literally fly out of the peninsula to probably Kaunakakai, the city that Lono is performing in. It's the main city on Molokai. For his performance, they would then stay overnight in a hotel with their caretakers, and then they would fly back. Now, if I remember correctly, for every one kapuna that did this, 2 caretakers had to travel with them. So for one person at the Kalapapa settlement, if one person wanted to go see Lono, it would actually be a 3-person trek. If 2 people wanted to go see him, it would be a 6-person trek. Needless to say, it was a logistical thing. So eventually they were like, hey Lono, it might be easier if you just like came to us. And so, do you think you could just come to us? And so he's like, well, make sure I've got a place to stay, blah, 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 and I will come to you. So that is how Lono eventually got invited to play on the peninsula, because basically it was just easier to bring him to them than them to him. And yes, indeed, you guys, it is that time of day again where my kitty Ashes wants everyone to know just who is in charge. Gina knows who's in charge, and it sure as heck isn't me. Kayla knows who's in charge, and it sure as heck isn't me. That is it. All right, you guys. So we have got 4 minutes to the bottom of the hour. I'm going to eventually, hopefully, be raiding into Terry. However, I'm going to need Terry, I think, to start his stream up before I can raid into it. And I'm going to have to remember how to raid. I think I do. So if we want to join Terry and what he's going to be streaming, we can definitely do that. And obviously, for those of you who are watching the rerun, you're not going to go with us to the Twitch stream that Terry in Scotland is running, because chances are it's already over. And if you are watching the rerun either on YouTube or on Twitch, I want to thank you so much for watching this stream. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button on the YouTube side. And Gina, that is why you jokingly and lovingly call Pippin Boss Cat. Yeah, is it? Is it a joke though? Really? Is it a joke? Because, I'll bet you Pippin thinks he's the boss cat. And I wouldn't be surprised if Pippin is the boss cat. And Puzzycat, Mr. Leo, I saw him the other day. He was very confused, actually. He came in, or he was at my back door. I let him in the back door. I gave him some ear scritches. I filled up the kitty bowl so he could have foods. And then I had to leave. So I left my front door, and he was just looking at me like, well, where are you going? I don't think he's ever seen me leave the house before. So I haven't seen him since then, but I'm sure he's around. I have no doubt in my mind that he's around doing his thing. And all right, you guys, it looks like Terry is ready, which means I'm going to have to figure out what the flying fork it is I'm doing. Kayla, I think everyone's told you, but in case you missed it, Daily Pidgin Live is on at 5 p.m. West Coast time. So we still have 30 minutes. So I'm not raiding Daily Pidgin Live because we'd have to sit around for 30 minutes. And instead of sitting around for 30 minutes, why don't we instead raid Terry in Scotland? Uh-oh, that's not... Where did I just type that? Okay, hold on. I thought I was raiding Terry in Scotland, but then I did not type it in the right place. Scotland. Okay, all right, you guys. So I want to thank you guys for your subs, your gift subs, your biddies, etc., etc. Now, let's go see Terry! Woohoo! All right, you guys, see you at Terry's, and if I don't see you at Terry's, I'll see you at Andy's. All right, I think a raid has been created, and we're gonna go there in just a little bit. I probably should have pressed the enter button sooner than later. There we go. All right, thanks so much, you guys. We will see each other soon. Take care.